Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Ghadir, and welcome to the Fertile Life podcast. I'm very excited to have Emily Fletcher here. For those of you who don't know who Emily is, she is the founder of Ziva Meditation. And all of you guys know that for me, it is an important part of the fertility journey to make sure that everyone is as calm and as peaceful and as happy starting this process. And that's why I thought it's really important that we touch base with someone who is an expert in the world of meditation. Emily, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love to have all of my guests introduce themselves and let people know what is the most important for them. So please.
Yeah, so what is the most important for me? Oh, I would say letting as many people on earth as possible to convert from team stress to team bliss. There's so much stress in the world right now. It's like we're swimming in it. And it's so easy to find unity with other people on how much stress there is. And it takes real courage. It takes real fortitude. And at this day and age, like discipline to cultivate that bliss inside of you, to cultivate that resilience and to wake up your internal pharmacy of bliss chemistry. And so that is what is most important to me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tell us how you got started in the world of meditation, because it is something that I have done here and there. I personally, every time that I've done it, have absolutely loved it. And it's a quick reset. Like it just clears the mind, lets me feel amazing. I'm curious how you got started in this.
So I used to be on Broadway. I was singing, dancing, acting on Broadway for about 10 years. And I really thought that once I got on Broadway, then I will be happy. I was in what I call the I'll be happy when syndrome, which I think, interestingly, a lot of people can get into around fertility of like, I'll be happy once I have a kid. And it's like, I just thought that once I get on Broadway, once I get this dream job, then all my problems will go away. But then I got my first Broadway show and was actually the saddest I had ever been. So I kept in that I'll be happy when syndrome for about a decade. And then my last show was a chorus line where I was understudying 3 of the lead roles, which is very high stress, high demand. You show up to work each night, you have no idea which character you're going to play. So this stress really got to be intense, led to insomnia, led to me going gray at 26, getting sick, getting injured. So here I am on Broadway, living my dream, doing what I wanted to do since I was a child, and yet I was miserable. And so thankfully, this amazing woman was sitting next to me in the dressing room. She had a harder job than I did, but was nailing it. And finally I said, what do you know that I don't know? And she said, I meditate. I was like, oh God, one of you. Didn't believe her, didn't really do anything about it, just kept sucking at my job, having insomnia and going gray. And then finally, I was so embarrassed about my performance that I thought something has to change. So I went along to a meditation training. On the first day of the first course, I was in a different state of consciousness that I had ever been in before, and I liked it. And then that night I slept through the night for the first time in 18 months. And I have slept through the night every night since, and that was 13 years ago. Wow. And then I stopped going gray. Then I stopped getting injured. Then I did not get sick for 8.5 years. And I just thought, why is everyone not doing this? Not to mention my performance got so much better, right? Like I went from being needy on stage to tapping into my own fulfillment and letting my performance be a vehicle to deliver fulfillment instead of being on stage, being like, please like me, please love me, which is unwatchable. So anyway, this meditation thing, it changed my life so dramatically that I was like, why is everyone not doing this? So I left Broadway, I went to India, and I started what became a 3-year training process to teach. And then since graduating, I have taught now over 40,000 people the Ziva technique, which is a trifecta of mindfulness, meditation, and manifesting. And the cool thing about Ziva and what I do is that I teach people how to do this stuff on their own. So they're not tethered to a phone or an app or Wi-Fi or a machine. It's like you're really waking up your own internal bliss chemistry so that you can access it on a plane, on a bus, with your kids in the next room. And it's been the most fun journey.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I would love to talk about the 3 different parts that you incorporate, because I haven't heard anyone explain it that way. And for me, that's really important. I really think that what you are saying is so incredibly important to myself, to the world, to my patients, to anyone that cares about their lifestyle. And I'd love to get an explanation, a little bit more detail about those 3 different phases and different aspects of meditation.
Yeah. So what I teach, and so this was after, like when I first started teaching, I was just teaching meditation. And honestly, that for me was amazing. Like it cured my insomnia. I stopped going gray. All those things I just talked about, well, that was just from 1/3 of what I teach. But then after like the first 6 years of teaching and many thousands of people later, I started noticing that some people were just so hesitant to start, and some people would even start and then quit. And I was like, what? Like, I just gave you the keys to the kingdom. Like, I just literally gave you the keys to heaven, which is inside of you. Why on earth would you put these things down? Like, it was baffling to me. It was mind boggling to me. And so I kept asking deeper questions, deeper questions. Why? What's really going on here? And I realized that a lot of people were resistant to the detoxification that would happen in their mind and bodies as a result of the meditation practice. And then a lot of people were just like, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. And so thus the Ziva technique was born. So the Ziva technique is a trifecta of mindfulness, meditation, and manifesting. Now, a lot of people are using the terms mindfulness and meditation as synonyms, but they are not the same thing. Mindfulness is the art of bringing your awareness into the present moment. And most of the quote unquote meditation apps out there are actually teaching what I would call mindfulness, right? The breath work, visualization, focusing on something. So anytime you're directing your focus, you're engaging your left brain, you're engaging that prefrontal cortex. And it's awesome. Mindfulness is great at dealing with your stress in the now. It's really good at creating a state change. Like I had a crazy day at work. Let me do 10 minutes of this app and I feel better in the now. Beautiful, powerful. But where Ziva is very different is that the style of meditation that I teach, which is sort of like the main course, like we use mindfulness as the appetizer to help us to transition into the main course of meditation, which is giving your body rest that is 5 times deeper than sleep. And that's a really important point because when you give your body the rest that it needs, it knows how to heal itself. And one of the things that it heals itself from is stress. But the cool part is it's not just healing stress from today, like mindfulness is. It's actually healing all of your accumulated stress from your past, all that stress that we've been storing in our cells for decades. Over time, that is what makes us stupid, sick, and slow, right? Wow. According to Harvard Medical School, stress is responsible for 90% of all doctors' visits. And so what we're doing with this style of meditation is that we're giving the body this deep healing rest. We're de-exciting the nervous system. So we're allowing the stress to come up and out of the cells. And this is why Ziva makes you smarter, faster, more productive. Your sleep gets better because you're actually creating a trait change. You're healing yourself on a cellular level, not just creating a state change in your mind. So those are the first 2 M's, right? Mindfulness is like the appetizer, meditation, deep healing rest, all about surrendering and letting go. And then the 3rd M is manifesting. And it sounds a little hippy dippy, it sounds a little woo woo, but manifesting is really, it's creating a roadmap for your life. It's consciously creating a life you love. It is you getting intentional about what you want your life to look like. And that sounds simple, but it is shocking to me how few people are actually taking the time to place the order at the cosmic restaurant, right? It's like we just go into the restaurant, we sit down at the table and we're like, why is anyone bringing me food? But she has food and he has food, I'm hungry. And the waitress comes over and she's like, hi, can I get you something? You're like, yeah, I'm starving. Can you bring me some food? And she's like, sure. What do you want? Food, I'm hungry. Everybody else has food. It's not fair. She's like, just place the order. And so a lot of us are just forgetting to ask for what it is that we actually want. Specifically, how much money do you want to make this year? How much sex do you want to be having in a week? What do you want your relationship with your body to feel like? Where's your dream vacation? Place the order. And so that's the manifesting piece. And where the magic happens is really in the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, right? It's like when you do all the stack together, it's like you're utilizing your brain chemistry, your connection with nature. You're allowing the right and left hemispheres of your brain to start to function in unison. And then when you set a clear intention from that space of feeling good, and when you've de-excited the nervous system and accessed source energy, then you start to see that like, oh, my dreams start showing up a lot faster.
Wow, that's powerful. That's beautiful. I'm stuck on one thing.
Great.
Every meditation that I've ever done I had to put like my headphones on or my AirPods in and listen to something online.
Yeah.
You said something that I loved, and that you don't need any of that. Can you explain how you get someone, or what it is that you're doing as the Ziva method of meditation that doesn't involve listening to someone to tell you what to do?
Yes, thank you so much for highlighting this, because I think in this day and age, meditation has become so popular and it's everywhere. There's hundreds of thousands of meditation stations on YouTube, thousands of meditation apps, and all of them are guiding you, right? You're listening to music or binaural beats. Someone's guiding you on your breath. You're doing visualizations, and they're all awesome. Okay. Like they're great. It's a great gateway drug. And this is what most people think that they need. They're like, well, I couldn't do it on my own. I have to have someone guide me. My brain is too crazy. I can't quiet my mind. I can't stop my thoughts.
You're saying all of my thoughts
Yeah.
out loud right now.
Yeah. And know that you're not alone, because everyone thinks that the point of meditation is to quiet the mind. And so because they're terrified of sitting with themselves and hearing what the mind is saying, or feeling their feelings, or sitting, or worse, sitting in like basically time out and feeling like you're failing at meditation, right? She's like, well, I'm supposed to be clearing my mind, but I'm thinking about my ex and my partner and my clients and my this. I suck at meditation. I'm going to quit. This is most people's relationship with meditation. So instead, we plug in, we get our AirPods, we get on Wi-Fi, we go into our phone, we pick out something that we hope is good, that's not going to be a waste of our time. We listen to it, and it can create a state change in the now, right? So I'm not here to disrespect or poo-poo on guided visualizations. I do them sometimes, like I create them sometimes. Where Ziva is so powerful, and where it's totally different than what most people have tried, is that I am teaching you how to do this on your own. Because to me, going to your phone to meditate is like having an AA meeting in a liquor store.
Yeah.
It's like, why on earth would you go into the belly of the beast to unplug? And so I'm very interested in giving people the tools to wake up that internal bliss chemistry, that internal pharmacy on their own. So what I do is I have a training. I have one for kids and one for adults, and it's a matriculation. So it's 15 days. It's about 15 minutes a day for 15 days. And I teach you all 3 M's, and each day's lesson builds upon the previous day. And by the time you graduate from this training, you can sit down and close your eyes and meditate anywhere, anytime, without me, without an audio, without a phone. It's like on a plane, on a bus, in your office. And I know that that sounds daunting. It sounds like incomprehensible, but that is literally my job, and I'm very good at my job.
So I want to jump in right now. Does someone go to your website and enroll and pay and then get the 15 days that comes to them one day at a time, or how does that work?
That's the simple version. It's just zivameditation.com/online is like, if they want to just like, give it to me, I want to do this thing. And then you would enroll, and then you do the 15-day training. And then you also have access to group coachings and monthly calls with me and a community. So I'm very involved inside of the community because I want people to succeed. So yeah, zivameditation.com/online.
I'm going to do this. I'm promising you right now that I am going to do this.
Great.
I've had major issues with sleep lately. It's been a couple of months that's been miserable because of just a lot on my plate, and everyone has a lot on their plate. So everyone needs to learn how to manage. I'm not even dealing with issues of fertility like most of my patients. So I could just imagine how that can affect people as well. But I'm, for one, tired of not sleeping and clearing the mind, and looking at the phone the last thing before going to bed, looking at the phone the first thing in the morning. So I am giving you my personal promise to do that. And then I'd like to even do another podcast where we could go over everything.
I love this so much. And what I've done sometimes in the past is like, I'll be on a podcast and someone's like, oh my God, I'm sold, give it to me, I'm doing it. So what could be kind of cool
and I don't say anything that I'm not going to really do.
I believe you. Like, I can feel your fortitude and I can feel your commitment. What might be kind of fun is if we wanted to do like a 15-day challenge. So like, anybody who's listening who wants to start, we could like pick a day. Yes, everybody starts it together. And we could even do like a mini episode once you graduate, and you can share your experiences and be like, it totally sucked, or like, it totally changed my life, or you can give me your honest experience.
That. So that is amazing. And then I can talk about it every day on social media as well about how I felt. So yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start it exactly when this airs. So you'll get me prepared and ready to start, and I'll tell you the air date of this episode, and that's gonna be perfect.
I love it. So anyone who's listening, it's like, yes, 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 I want in. It's just zivameditation.com/online.
I will be giving
Post the date.
beforehand some updates on when we're starting and when the
Okay.
podcast is going to go out. And we're going to do that because I think that this is so important.
Yeah.
This world has changed. I
Yeah.
was talking to one of my friends the other day. I was like, when our parents used to tell us like, oh, I used to do this and that, you're like, whoa, that is so crazy. And what a weird world that was. And I'm that person now. I tell my kids something and they're like, wow, that's crazy. You don't even have a phone. You don't even have a computer. And I didn't. And you know what? It was a different world. And I think it was a better world and a simpler world. And I used to ride my bike all over town and go to my friends' houses and play and just not stuck behind an iPad for like 12 hours at a time. So these things are like too much for the brain. It's just too much stimulus at all times that affects your body in a negative way. You said it, whether it's turning gray, whether it's making you age, whether it's putting the pressure of the world on top of you that you just can't handle. I don't think the human body was made for that. And I think we need to all learn tools. And this is going to be an area that's going to grow tremendously in the future because I don't think it's natural. I don't think it's natural for us to be able to take in and be able to kind of dissect that stress and move on beautifully.
Yeah, amen. You know that we, in our day and age, we consume as much information in 7 days as our ancestors did in their entire lifetime. 7 days, an entire lifetime. Like you're right, it is not natural for us to, in 30 seconds, know every single tragedy that's happening on planet Earth at the same time. Our hearts were not built to hold all of the devastation of the world at once. And because now, just like anything, we get addicted. And so the news cycles, to keep our attention, they have to get more and more dramatic, more and more fear inducing. And so there's real global changes happening. Yes, that is real. That's enough to adapt to as a species. But then on top of it, we have the ever growing, fear and trepidation. And look, I'm a meditation teacher. I've taught over 40,000 people how to reduce their stress. And I am like, whoa, like in the past few weeks, I'm like, okay, like my plate is full. And I'm like, if I am feeling this, not that I'm special, I've just been doing a stress relieving tool for 13 years and I'm feeling, capacitated. It's like, what is the rest of the world feeling right now? And so I'm really feeling this call to action of getting these tools into as many people's hands as possible. And God bless people on a fertility journey right now, because it's like, we're already sort of at like an 8 or a 9. And then you add fertility or infertility or complications. And I can imagine that you just feel like you're constantly redlining. And so what Ziva does is that it brings you back down into like your baseline level of stress is at like a 1 or a 2. And yes, occasionally things might happen. And yes, you'll have reactions and emotions. You'll still be human, but your baseline will not be one of like almost panic all the time, which is not.
Emily, one thing I was reading about you that I absolutely loved is that you introduce this and have a program for children. What age is that program for?
So I created this amazing, I'm just going to toot my own horn for a minute because I'm so proud of this thing. It's called Ziva Kids. It's for ages 4 to 14. There's there's actually 3 trainings inside of my household.
We have from 4 to 13.
Really?
And 2 twins that are 10 in the middle.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yes.
So look, you could do actually a whole family challenge. You get your kids to do Ziva Kids while you do Ziva online. And it's really so special. Like, so the 4 to 8-year-olds, there's a program called Play. And I created it with folks from Sesame Street and Harvard. And so it was like every single episode is vetted by child psychologists. We built a puppet. So my co-star's name is Z Bunny. And Z Bunny is training to be a superhero. And every day he faces new challenges along the way. And then, he comes to me and I'm teaching him these tools of mindfulness, meditation, and manifesting. And these tools help to unlock his superpowers of bravery, creativity, and kindness. And then by the end of the training, he's become a superhero. And the kids who are following along feel like they've unlocked their superpowers. And every single day they're meditating. And so it's like, this is screen time that you can feel great about. And Ziva Kids is designed to help your kids do it on their own. And one of the surprising benefits that people have been sharing is that watching it is giving whole families a shared vocabulary of how to talk about big emotions. So there's these characters called the Stormies, like storm clouds, when Z Bunny's facing big emotions. And so he has a scared Stormy and a mad Stormy and a sad Stormy. And so now, like grandparents, parents, siblings, kids, they're all able to voice what they're feeling in a way that doesn't feel like there's something wrong. And these kids are learning the emotional fortitude to be able to feel and process their emotions in real time. And I am so proud of this thing. And the kids who haven't slept in their own bed for 10 years are suddenly sleeping in their own beds. Kids are doing it on their own, where like the parents just walk in and the kids are meditating. Like, it's so dang cute. I can't even handle it.
I'm wondering if I should do the kid version first.
I would actually flip it. If you move through the training first and have your own experience and go through the physical and emotional detox yourself, I think you're going to be a much better sidekick for your kids. And then they can also see you doing it, right?
And I love the fact that this is only 15 days.
Yeah. So Ziva Online is 15 days for the adults. For kids, it's only 7.
Oh,
and
wow.
The cool thing is that inside of the kids course, there's also an adult training. Now, that's not training the adults on how to meditate. It's training the adults on how to be a great sidekick. Right. Like if your kid's training to be a superhero, you got to train on how to be a sidekick. And that includes not being their meditation police. It includes not like forcing them to do it, but instead like supporting them and reminding them that they now have a superpower.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. So gosh, congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
On doing something that is so important for everyone. And when they say, making a dent in the world, you've done a big dent, and I congratulate you to helping 40,000 people. You have a lot more people to help.
No kidding. Only 8 billion to go.
Yes. You're getting there. You got to start somewhere. Somewhere. So can you do me a favor and plug the website one more time?
Yeah. So what I would recommend is for like people who are interested in the family stuff, I'd love to give them a 3-day challenge. It's zivameditation.com/happy family. And there's a 3-day happy family challenge, and that will tell them all about Ziva Kids. But basically all of this is just at ZIVA meditation.com. So zivameditation.com. And and if people want, there's actually a beautiful free webinar, which is zivameditation.com/podcast. And that goes deep into the science of, what all the 3 M's are doing to your brain and body.
That's amazing. Amazing. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I really look forward to doing this. I'm saying that wholeheartedly, and then talking about it afterwards and see truly what it's done, because this is something that has been on my to-do list like too long. So it was meant that we talk today. So thank you so much for inspiring me to do this. And I feel so good and excited right now. Great. So thank you again. I want to thank everybody for listening to this very special episode, and to make sure you listen to the next follow-up that we're going to have. Thank you, Emily and Ziva Meditation, for joining us today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for the live podcast.